In the future, everyone is forced to undergo plastic surgery when they turn 16, but the surgery secretly turns them into mindless puppets, and one girl is determined to expose the truth. Years ago, humanity exhausted Earth's natural resources, causing society to descend into chaos and war. To save what was left of civilization, the world's smartest scientists created genetically modified orchids that became a new energy source. However, humans still fought over their differences, so the scientists created the transformation. When people turn 16, they undergo plastic surgery that transforms them into their most perfect selves. These people are known as pretties and live in the futuristic city. Those who haven't undergone the surgery are called Uglies and live in the dorms of Uglieville. Tally can't wait to become a pretty and constantly checks an app on her mirror to see what she'll look like after the procedure. Her best friend is Paris. Tally will turn 16 in 3 months, but Paris is older and his transformation is happening tomorrow. So they meet on a rooftop during curfew and use AR glasses to watch the pretties partying in the city. They also have matching scars on their palms and promise not to let the doctors erase them when they become pretty. The next morning, Tally overhears students talking about the Smoke, a hidden place outside the city led by a man named David. According to the rumors, many people escape the city and hide there, although most students don't believe it's real. Just then, a hologram of Governor Cable appears and gives a speech about the importance of being pretty and perfect. Soon after, everyone who has turned 16 is called for their transformation. Tally says goodbye to Paris and asks him to meet her at the bridge in 1 month. That evening, she watches the fireworks above the city and remembers the day she first met Paris. Her parents had just dropped her off at the dorms, and Paris was standing behind her in line. They immediately hit it off and quickly became best friends. One day, Paris accidentally cuts his hand, so Tally gives herself the same scar. They promise to stay friends forever. A month later, Tally uses her ring to hack open a window and escape, leaving the ring behind because it has a tracker. She reaches the bridge, but Paris never shows up. Worried, Tally climbs onto the bridge with a rope and reaches the city. She sneaks around, finds a mask, and puts it on. The mask projects a hologram over her body, making it look like she's wearing a pretty dress. Now able to blend in, Tally finds Paris, but he looks completely different and doesn't recognize her. She removes the mask and asks why he never came. Paris says things are different now and promises they can be friends again after her surgery. Tally is shocked, especially when she notices his scar is gone. Before she can say more, the security system detects her, forcing her to escape. Trapped on a balcony, Tally steals a bungee jacket and jumps. It bounces her safely to the ground, allowing her to escape the city. But while crossing the bridge, she accidentally kicked a stone into the river. A drone detects her and moves in to arrest her. Suddenly, Shay appears and tells Tally to get on her hoverboard. The girls fly away while the drone follows, but Shay manages to lose it. Afterward, they break into a kitchen for snacks and bond over being left behind while their friends turn 16 first. They also discover they share the same birthday and get excited about becoming pretty together. The next day, Shay brings Tally a second hoverboard, but Tally immediately fails to ride it. Later at school, Tally sees some girls returning a book to Shay. Curious, Tally borrows the book from Shay. As the days pass, she reads it but still dreams about the transformation. Tally also shows Shay her pretty designs on the app, but is shocked to learn that Shay doesn't even have an account. She isn't excited about the operation at all. Eventually, Tally learns how to ride the hoverboard and returns the book to Shay. Tally says she wishes she could visit the beautiful places shown in the book. Shay tells her they're in the Smoke and takes Tally to the edge of the woods. They leave their rings on some branches, then cross the border on their hoverboards by riding over the river. Eventually, they reach the ruins of an old city where Shay takes Tally into an abandoned building. Shay starts a fire and says she's going to contact David. She reveals that she won't get the surgery and plans to leave that night. She wants Tally to come with her, but Tally refuses. She says she doesn't want to be free, she just wants to become pretty. Upset, Shay gives Tally directions to the Smoke in case she ever changes her mind. Just then, they notice another fire burning across the building. David has received the signal. Moments later, Shay leaves on her hoverboard. The next day is Tally's birthday, so she goes to the clinic for her surgery, but the nurse calls everyone except her. Instead, a guard takes Tally away in an aircraft to meet Dr. Cable, who reveals that Shay is missing. Tally insists she knows nothing, but Cable can see her vitals on a screen, which shows that she's lying. Cable claims Shay is in danger because David brainwashed her, and David is known for holding people against their will. When Tally still refuses to tell her anything, Cable sends her back to the dorms. That night, Tally is surprised to see Paris at her window. She tells him what happened, and Paris suggests that she tell Cable what she knows so they can finally be together. The next day, Cable tells Tally that David is developing a weapon to attack the city, so she needs Tally to infiltrate the Smoke and rescue Shay. Tally agrees, and Cable promises she'll get the surgery if she succeeds. She also gives Tally a necklace that flashes in her eyes and tells her to activate it when she finds the weapon's location. Tally follows Shay's instructions and rides the hoverboard along an old roller coaster for a while, but she gets distracted by a gap, falls into the woods, and is caught by a force field. There, she finds abandoned train tracks and follows them toward the Smoke. For the next few days, Tally Tally survives in the wild, and eventually she reaches the end of the tracks, where a huge gap separates both sides of a chasm. Tally gets back on the hoverboard and makes a big jump. Suddenly it malfunctions, sending her falling toward the ground. Just before she hits, the hoverboard reactivates, allowing her to reach the other side safely. Following Shay's instructions, Tally waits in a field of flowers. Meanwhile, Cable meets with Paris in her office. She thanks him for changing Tally's mind and tells him he has been chosen for a special procedure. Paris then enters the surgery machine to receive special enhancements. That night, Tally wakes up coughing from smoke. She discovers the field is on fire and has no idea what to do. Suddenly, a mysterious person grabs her and carries her away. It's David. David scans Tally and her belongings for trackers. He finds one inside the hoverboard and removes it, but the scanner doesn't detect the necklace. Meanwhile, Cable learns that Tally's tracker has been removed and sends scouts to search the area. The next morning, David and Tally reach a smoke outpost where she reunites with Shay. Shay is thrilled to see her, but Croy remains suspicious. That night, the group camps out and Shay asks about Tally's necklace. Tally quickly lies and says it was a gift from Paris. Tally is surprised to see Shay happy after everything Cable told her and tries to express her concerns. Shay realizes Tally only came to convince her to return to the city. They argue, but Tally eventually agrees to give the smoke a chance. The next day, Tally learns that the smoke burns the orchids because they're actually toxic and destroy anything in their path. David wants to show her the damage, so the group takes an old helicopter and flies out. From the air, Tally sees areas where orchids once grew, but now there's nothing but desert. Shay uses a flamethrower to burn as many orchids as possible. Suddenly, Croy detects Cable scouts approaching, so David lowers the helicopter into the smoke to hide. Shay gets distracted and falls, forcing Tally to climb down after her. With the scouts closing in, Tally searches through the flames and eventually finds Shay. When a scout gets close, Tally grabs the bag and throws it at him. Then both girls hold onto the rope as the helicopter takes off, escaping just before another scout can jump onto them. After they land, Croy points out that the scouts could only have found them because of Tally. Shay defends her, and David agrees that anyone willing to risk their life for the smoke deserves a chance. That night, Tally struggles to sleep. She keeps thinking about Cable and how she taught her to manipulate the smoke. The next day, Tally is blindfolded and finally taken into the smoke. The community is thriving in nature. Everyone contributes, and since there's no money, people share or trade what they have. Most importantly, everyone is there by choice. Tally learns that the old train track are being recycled into tools. She asks Shay about the weapon, but Shay says the smoke doesn't make weapons. Sometime later, David teaches Tally how to use a hunting crossbow. On the way back, David explains that he never saw the city because he was born in the smoke and grew up here with his parents. Tally is shocked because she barely knew her own parents. David then gives her a pair of gloves. Just then, a smoke member returns from an orchid-burning mission with an injury. She warns them that the scouts are faster and stronger than normal. Later, Shay notices Tally wearing David's gloves and says it's a big deal. David made them himself, so giving them to Tally means he likes her. Shay tells Tally to make her choice and stop playing with them. The next time Tally goes for a walk with David, she mentions the rumors about a weapon that could destroy the city. David takes her to a house far from camp where she meets his parents, Az and Maddie. They used to be cosmetic surgeons for the government, but they became suspicious and started investigating. They discovered that the physical changes were only a cover. The operation also altered people's brains. Becoming a pretty means becoming a mindless puppet for the government while feeling artificially happy. The operations and testings had also killed many people, but the deaths were kept secret. When Cable discovered Az and Maddie knew the truth, she stole all their research. So David's parents fled the city and chose to grow old naturally in the woods. At that time, government workers were secretly given a cure so they could think clearly while working. Az and Maddie have been trying to recreate that cure, but they're missing one component and only have a base serum. This serum is the so-called weapon that could destroy the city. After the meeting, Tally throws her necklace into the fire, choosing to stay with the smoke. She tells David that she has done terrible things, but he doesn't care. To him, she's a new person now. The two share a kiss, but the necklace suddenly sparks in the fire. The next morning, city aircrafts arrive at the smoke. Everyone starts running as the scouts chase after them. Unfortunately, the scouts are too fast and too strong, and soon every smoke member is captured. Tally and David find a hiding spot. Tally is devastated when she realizes that Paris has become a scout. Just then, Az and Maddie are captured too. Cable demands to know where David is. When they refuse to talk, Cable orders Paris to kill Az. David and Tally rush out to stop him, but they're too late. Cable then tells everyone that Tally has been working for her, turning the smoke against her. While everyone is distracted, Maddie secretly hides the serum in David's pocket. As Cable announces that everyone will receive the surgery, Tally runs to the supply shack and starts a fire. She grabs a crossbow and escapes through a window while a scout tries to break in. Suddenly, the fire causes an explosion that throws the scout back. Maddie screams at David to run, but another scout chases him. Tally stops the scout with an arrow. Paris wants to join the chase, but Cable stops him, saying Tally will come to her. The scouts then destroy Maddie's lab and tear apart the smoke while forcing the prisoners into aircraft. After they leave, David gathers whatever supplies he can find for for a rescue mission. When Tally approaches him, David attacks her with a knife but stops himself before hurting her. Tally says she wants to help rescue the others, but David tells her he no longer trusts her. Tally explains that he needs her because she's the only one who knows the city. Later, Tally approaches the students who read Shay's book and introduces them to David, proving that the smoke is real. She borrows an interface ring and asks them to gather as many kids as possible to create a diversion. Soon, a group of teenagers uses their hoverboards to write "The smoke lives" across the sky. Meanwhile, David and Tally wait for the aircrafts to leave the clinic. They then fly inside on their hoverboards, go through a tunnel, and land safely using bungee vests. They carefully sneak through the facility until Tally uses the ring to hack the lock, but it doesn't work. Suddenly, a guard opens the door and David immediately attacks him. After a short fight, David overpowers him and holds him against the wall so Tally can take his ring. As the alarms go off, they find the captured smoke members and use the ring to free them, but Tally realizes Shay is missing. Croy reveals that she has already undergone the surgery. While most of the group escapes, David, Tally, and Maddie search for Shay. Unfortunately, they're too late. Shay is already a pretty. Tally breaks down and apologizes, but Shay insists that she loves being pretty. Just then, Cable and Paris arrive and force the trio into the surgery chamber. The procedure begins, but a helicopter suddenly appears outside. Croy attacks with a flamethrower as the surgery chamber is damaged. The trio escapes, with Tally grabbing Shay while Maddie gets the missing component she needs for the cure. They reach the rooftop and find Paris waiting for them. Tally tries to reason with him, but David suddenly tackles him and starts fighting. Paris is too strong and quickly overpowers David. Just before he can kill him, Tally uses a hoverboard to tackle Paris, sending him falling into a waterfall. The group escapes on hoverboards and sees the other teenagers, causing the drones to crash into each other in the sky. They hide in the abandoned city, where Maddie says she can now use the base serum to create the cure. However, she can't be sure if it will actually work. Since Shay is no longer herself, Tally volunteers to test it. She plans to turn herself in, undergo the surgery, and then take the cure. Tally says a final goodbye to the group. Then everyone runs while Tally allows Cable and the scouts to capture her. Sometime later, Tally is living as a pretty in a luxurious apartment, but the scar on her hand reveals that she's still herself, and she plans to keep fighting Cable and the pretties.